And we pick up on the morning after the day of insanity. It is the 19th of October, and having carried out research, the Society has various lines of investigation. I believe John wanted to speak to Mortimer about what he had found. Would you like to arrange your meeting at the Society or elsewhere?
At the Society would work fine, unless John or Mortimer would rather we do it at the
That makes
shop.
sense to meet up there.
Arranged to meet at the Society that morning. Maximilian, had you remained at the Society that night?
I think I probably would have, yes.
Okay, so you are still there, and Elsie is there. Ignatius and D'Angelo are both recuperating from the events of yesterday. James is seen to supplying them with some food and making sure that Agnes is 1,000 miles away from Ignatius. But as the Society picks up the morning after, we'll start with John and Mortimer and Maximilian, or anyone else if you care to join
them. Okay. Mortimer will travel from his shop to the Society, so it'll be early-ish, but
Okay, so it's early morning. We're meeting in a parlour, the
a drawing room or something.
library. I always imagine John redirecting you away from. Let's not meet in the library. Actually,
Actually, that's a very good point.
it's a silly place. It's just singe marks on the sofa, a massive burn on the rug.
There will be the morning room or something, or a sitting room anyway.
Maximilian, do you care to join them?
Yeah, sure. I'll pick myself up.
Yeah, Elsie is not down yet.
Well, and did you find anything?
We did a little bit. After some tumultuous events in the library, I did come across a very small, thin volume of notes, just medical and chemical knowledge of the serpent people that seems to have some bearing on it. I want to talk to Dr. Davenport about that.
Have I already arrived at the Society, Kiefer? I'm not sure.
Up to you. Up to you.
Why not? Saves time.
Sure, I'll watch as Dr. Davenport just enters the room at the perfect time.
Sorry, I'd assumed he was already there.
I wasn't sure, and we were still.
Sometimes we just don't pay attention to each other. This is just normal. It's fine.
I've got something to tell Dr. Davenport. He waves around from behind the curtain. Hello. Sorry, I was. Yes. Actually, just as you're having this conversation, Dr. Davenport arrives. We hear James showing him in and ushering him into the morning room.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
So, how is everyone today?
And I look at Max. And how are you? You've taken the worst of it.
I mean, it's not healing, but
I think we'll have to see. I'm sure there will be a solution. One question, what have you done with the book?
This book?
That book.
I'm keeping it here, just to make sure. They tried again yesterday evening, and I'm not
Well, he's not here now, so I've got an idea.
sure. What idea would that be?
A funny idea. Well, the book is quite big. It's not going to fit in a normal safe.
Well, it is a bit thinner than it was.
True. But I've got... We could just lock it up in a cupboard beneath my shop. I promise not to read it until you tell me that's okay for me to read it. Okay, Max?
And I just want that the reading happens like together, so that if somebody has a Ignatius moment, we can intervene in time.
That's fair enough.
So, unless we have anything,
We just need to lock it up and seal it away until we have the right time.
yeah.
What I could do, I could create a copy of it. A book that looks on the outside exactly the same as it.
And then we burn it.
I like this plan.
We create. Just has to look like it from the outside, so I don't actually have to read the book.
Sure, that sounds like a plan.
And that might be a good decoy to deal with D'Angelo's issue. He doesn't need to know it's not the real book that's being burnt.
Sounds like an idea, yes.
I like it.
Not sure how long it would take me to make a copy of just the outside keeper. If I were
Probably
to
a
make
couple of days of work.
Yeah, I'm not doing any detailed stuff, just the outside itself, so a couple of days. So, yeah, it shouldn't take me that long to do.
Good. I can't run around and keep an eye on that thing all the time.
So we can hide the original, lock it up somewhere, and potentially destroy the decoy one.
Sounds good.
With D'Angelo witness to it being destroyed.
What's being destroyed?
Oh, good morning.
Oh yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Taking another trip to the volcano.
No, we're just saying how D'Angelo tried to get hold of that book again. So the problem is, it's a bit big for a safe, but we need to lock it up somewhere. But I could try and create something that looks from the outside exactly the same as it. So he doesn't know the original still is held by the society somewhere locked up. And he could somehow witness the copy being destroyed.
Right, and he wouldn't have an opportunity to discover that it's not the original because, well, sayingly, we would keep him away from it, as we did the last time.
Yeah, we can try. But it's an option to deal with his moment of insanity.
Actually, that's quite genius, But are you okay with lying to him?
Oh, yes.
We don't have to lie. We don't tell him anything. He just has to believe what he sees. We'll work something out. But that'll be for another day, I think. It'll only take me a couple of days to make a copy of it, to be fair. Actually, yeah, I could do a copy, just examine the outside, actually. Make a few measurements and come up with something. But now
as long as you also copy the damage that's already done to the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
You might want to at least duplicate the first page so that you can open it, show them it's here, and then throw it in the fire.
No, the outside, it's distinctive enough.
Yeah, it is
just
a
the
very
cover.
large book, and it'd probably be a couple of days of work because to gather the materials. Like, this is an old volume.
Yeah, it's not something Mortimer would normally do.
Yeah.
All right.
I did find out something interesting in my research. I found some information about an old, I say friend of mine, but it's not really a friend, someone I know, Dr. Victor Peterson. He seemed to have an interest in unusual creatures and injuries and stuff like that. Last time I encountered a serpent person, he was rather interested in them.
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted to keep samples, I believe, of them.
That brings up something I wanted to talk to you about, but continue.
So he might have an idea of... To be fair, he tends to deal a lot more with dead bodies. But he might have an insight in it. So I'd probably like to consult him about this creature we encountered. He might have an idea about the injuries. Who knows?
You said something about serpent people?
I did.
Yes, they were just talking about it.
No, Mr. Greaves, you said something about...
Oh, the part of what I discovered in the library last night, there was a really thin volume just of handwritten notes that relate to the medical and chemical knowledge that we have about the serpent people. And so in it seemed to be some things that might be relevant to taking care of Maximilian's wounds. But I wanted Dr. Davenport to read it over to see if he could get anything specific out of it.
That sort of makes sense. The serpent people have been around for a long time. But I've actually been studying a language a little bit. I'm not very good at it, and I've got some notes of a language, but I've also got a suspicion of someone I believe might be a serpent person, but I haven't actually come out and told them I believe they are one. But I had wanted to discuss with him another time and break it to him a bit less obviously, in case I'm completely wrong, because I could be.
I actually found something as well yesterday. And I go to the desk where I kept the notes from the library yesterday, and pull them out. There's a Dr. Samson Delaney, and he has this book of miracle cures. These are the notes that I was able to obtain yesterday. And apparently he's still alive and in Whitechapel. So I don't know if we want to look into this and see if maybe he might have a cure or if it's complete drivel.
It does sound a bit strange, but who knows? We can cover all possibilities and do all our research and try every option. Although that's far-fetched, that would be the last.
Maybe we can go to the guy in Whitechapel and hope that it helps.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can't do more than, nothing.
True.
Are you in any shape to travel?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just hurting. I'm bleeding a bit, but...
Oh, you're fine then.
I mean, I'm not dying, I think.
I mean, not being a doctor, but are you suffering any ill effects? I mean, other than just the physical bite wounds? I mean, are you feeling anything strange affecting you, supernatural-wise?
I don't know. I'm not a supernatural person. Not like you folks with all your but I feel slower thinking, and
That can very well just be a result of the pain that you're in and blood loss.
Yeah, slower and maybe just a little less determined. I mean, disciplined, maybe. But I'm not sure if that's just me being like, okay, I'm hurting, I just want to, there not being anything that I can physically do to change the situation. I don't know. I've been hurt worse, and it wasn't like that, but I don't know.
So what should we do first?
Well, the volume thing that I found is pretty small. You could just have a quick read over it, and then that might give us a pointer to go on.
Sounds like a plan.
And I'll go and get the volume.
And you wanted to speak with someone about this as well?
Yeah. We have a Dr. Victor Peterson. I wanted to chat to him about the creature involved in this to see whether he has any knowledge of it. He seemed to have an
Why
interest.
don't we do that here? Invite him here to, I don't know, ask about the creature and maybe even look at the wounds. While we do the book reading, and then after that, if we don't come to any solution, then we go and speak to Dr. Delaney.
Well, I can invite him, but he doesn't tend to leave the morgue that often.
Tell him
You prefer the company of dead people.
It's probably pretty dead there.
Are you sure that he's not a cultist?
Nope. That is the honest answer.
All right.
But he's been any strange bodies that the creatures that the society encountered and the police encountered would be passed on to him to investigate.
And he then turns around and talks to you.
Sort of. I know him, but I think I know him more professionally from visiting him with the bodies more often than not, and asking him questions about his
Right.
analysis of them.
I mean,
But he does seem a bit strange.
he's trustworthy. We can just go and try.
Can do. I can invite him anyway.
Okay, so the plan is to have a read through this notebook and send a message inviting Peterson to the society. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is the note from the society as a whole, or just from one of you? And does it give any specific reason for requesting his attendance, or just a polite and formal note?
I can. Who wants to write it?
I think Mortimer would probably write it because he has met him before and he knows him. He'd probably invites him to come to the society. We've encountered an unusual creature that has caused unusual wounds we would like him to have a look at for his expert opinion. At his convenience, sort of thing.
So you send that message to the hospital, and in the meantime, you're taking a look through the book. Is there anything anyone else wants to be doing in the meantime?
I'd like to try and do something. Could I try and sketch what the wounds look like?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were looking through the.
Oh, I will, but
Yeah, but if you want to do something else instead, that is also totally fine.
Oh, it's okay. I can do that. I'll look at the book.
I can sketch the wound.
But if Peterson's coming anyway.
I mean, sure. I'm gonna set myself on like a chair.
I still like it.
Open up.
Okay.
And you can sketch those wounds. I'm not sure if that's helping, but
I'll have an appropriate art-based roll from Elsie and a medicine roll from Mortimer. I'm not going to ask for a posing roll from Maximilian. I assume you got that down. Is there anything John wants to be doing? What's this is going on?
He will just be observing.
Oh wow! Okay, we're off to a good start today. Elsie is producing a very good watercolor or sketch of a sketch.
Yeah.
Just a sketch outline of this separating wound.
It looks almost real.
Yeah, there's a career there. And Mortimer, you're going through these notes. They're a little rambling, and you don't recognize the handwriting, and nowhere are they signed by whose notes these are. But they seem to discuss the application of serpent person-derived techniques to human medicine. There's all sorts of cures and suggestions and treatment ideas. And amongst some truly disturbing solutions for very minor problems, you find mention of a treatment for infected or decaying wounds. There are a mixture of several ingredients to be applied as a sort of topical treatment to the wounded area. Most of the ingredients, those you would recognize as normal medicinal supplies, but it also suggests including in the mixture a dilution of dissolving venom and desiccating venom, neither of which you find in your standard medical kit.
Is that snake person venom it's on about?
It just describes it as dissolving venom and desiccating venom. It gives like the tincture and the dilutions of both to be used in very small quantities as part of this treatment.
So it's dissolving venom, and what's the second one, sorry?
Desiccating venom.
Desiccating.
And as you're reading through this, as I said, some of the other treatments in here are quite disturbing. And I will need you to roll me 1d4, please.
Oh. Let's see.
You understand what it's suggesting for some of these medical treatments, like, oh, do that to a person whilst they're alive? Like,
that's not good.
Yes, please deduct 3 points from your sanity. And increase your Cthulhu Mythos by 1. And your Nikal by 1. Some of the terms and phrasings in here, you're like, oh, that's what that word means. No. I saw in the Nikal workbooks. But yeah, as you're there studying this book and Elsie's producing these very detailed drawings, a couple of hours pass by. And you hear a knock at the front door. And James answers the door. And you hear a slightly nervous voice from the hallway downstairs. Yes, I got a letter, a message from Dr. Davenport. Wow, it's a very, very fancy place. Asked me to come here? Yes, Dr. Peterson, they're up this way. Please, follow me, sir. Let me take your coat. And there's a knock on the door to the morning room, and James pushes it open. Sirs? Miss?
James?
Dr. Peterson here to see you.
Ah.
Good one, Dr. Peterson.
Morning. And you see...
I wasn't sure whether you'd come today.
Well, you invited me. Victor, outside of the dark, dim lighting of the morgue, and out of his work clothes, looks a little out of place. He's wearing his jacket, and he does not currently have any blood on his hands. He still is his usual slightly pallid-looking self. He has the skin complexion of someone who doesn't really ever see day.
Well, one of our friends picked up some unusual injuries recently.
Where's the body?
Hi.
Let me take... Oh, you're alive! Well...
We've just rebandaged him, but here are some drawings of the injury.
You did these?
Yes.
Exceptional.
But regardless, these are exactly what his injuries look like.
If you are ever have any, I could do with an illustrator for some of my more recent papers. I have a. How do you feel about illustrating severed limbs?
As long as the room is well aerated, I should be fine. But that's not something to discuss at the moment.
Have we met before? Victor Peterson.
Miss Elsie Smith?
Those do look nasty, but I must say you are in much better condition than the patients I normally see.
I hope so, yes.
Yeah. So,
have you seen anything like these before?
Why me? I mean, they look nasty. Probably a couple of weeks old, yes?
A couple of days.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like there's some form of infection. Something. It's like
it doesn't seem to be healing.
Is that black bit dead?
It doesn't seem to be healing at all.
Yeah.
I know normally you deal with dead bodies, but I wasn't sure whether you had any insight on these sort of injuries.
I've not seen anything quite like it. There was. No, were you on that? Were you involved in the Mile End incident back in April? I can't remember if the society was on that one.
I don't know.
Bodies pulled out of the river? Strange wounds?
No, must have missed me on that one.
Surprised Thorn didn't get you involved in that one. I kept telling him there's something odd going on. Yeah, there were a couple of bodies pulled out of the river, traced them back to residents of the Mile End over in East London, and yeah, not quite like that, but they had a similar sort of fast decayed wounds.
No, in April we were in Bath.
Ah.
Maybe that is why.
Maybe, or to be fair, Thorn doesn't have a lot of good things to say about the society. Well, Thorn doesn't have a lot of good things to say about anything, but I don't think he likes me very much. I keep pestering him with things, and he keeps telling me to just incinerate the bodies and move on.
He doesn't seem to be wanting to get to the right answers. He just wants an answer.
I mean, an answer means he gets to close the folder and move on. So can't even fault him for that.
I mean, these weren't quite like that. And there were other oddities with those bodies. Organs removed.
No, I hope
you're not missing your spleen or pancreas, are you?
I mean, I can still walk, so I assume that the spleen at least is still where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, that does remind me of something. Remember that those jars of body parts that I sent you?
Yeah, I still have those.
Yeah.
Dora keeps having to dust around them.
I'm just wondering whether where those came from is tied in with the bodies. I don't know. It's strange.
Yeah, maybe, but
That's a casual gift, sending jars and body parts in jars.
I mean, you're the better doctor of the living than I am. All I could suggest is perhaps either cutting or burning away the infected flesh. See if that would help.
I found, Mr. Greaves here found some obscure medical information that might help. So we'll probably try that and see, but we'll do what we have to do in the end.
Yes. You said some of my notes were in your... Did I lend you some of my notes at one point?
Oh, yes, you did. I remember.
Good. I'm
Yes,
missing quite a few of my notes, but I couldn't remember if I'd lent them to you or if someone had been sniffing around the morgue again.
It's actually the first time I'd gone to speak with you at the morgue. We had a shared interest in the matter being discussed, and you mentioned you had a number of notes, so you sent them to the society for me.
Well, good. At least I've got to the bottom of that. I know that no one's stealing. If there's anything else I can do,
I mean, take a couple of drinks with us. That's probably something that you could do. But otherwise, I don't know.
Maybe this evening. It is a little early in the day, and.
But your suggestion is to cut away the necrotic flesh. Cut or burn.
Or perhaps the arm, to be on the safe side.
The whole arm.
I think that'll be the extreme last.
Well, let's try that as very, 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 very last, please.
Wait, are the injuries both on the same arm, or are they one on each arm?
I think more on each, right?
Yeah, I can see that could be problematic.
I mean, there's people that can eat with their feet, but still.
Well, you see, I've been
I was just going to say, if we believe it's going to be lethal, like the injuries, if they start getting worse, and it looks as if it will, that will be a last resort, potentially.
Well, if they become lethal, I might.
I mean, I don't really care once I'm dead.
I might be able to help there.
Are you still doing the experiments with electricity?
No, that was a dead end.
Oh.
Turns out that Shelley's books are pure fiction. It does not work in reality. Much experimentation, complete dead end. But I came across some other useful books. I found. Look, this sounds a little insane.
We've probably heard words.
I know you've probably heard words. There was a theory that if you could render someone down into their component matter, into like from dust back to the dust to the elemental
the salts that make the body
the salts that make themselves.
You can do the same to bring them back.
Reconstitute them from that. Born again, crafted from clay, it's in all the myths and stories, right?
I've actually read the same thing in another book.
Crafted from the earth, made from mud. Maybe there's truth in that. Pardon?
Like a homunculus.
Yes, like the homunculus, like the stories of, Greek gods shaping men from clay, shaping them out of the earth, out of this rendered down matter. I think there's truth in it.
That could be another option as well.
So you're saying
I know there's truth in it.
So you're saying
it doesn't always work though.
You're saying if we have to cut off one of Max's arms, we could make another one out of mud and clay for him.
Possibly it would work for a single limb. I don't know. I've tried several. Mostly, you just end up with the person rendered down to dust and unable to reform them. But the second step is possible. I'm sure of it. And almost there.
That may be an idea to try if we run out of options.
If we have to take the extreme measures, then would you be willing to donate your body to science?
I mean, if I'm dead anyway, I don't care anymore.
Excellent! Make sure to label it for the University College Hospital morgue. Care of Dr. Peter. My assistant Dora will help with it.
We'll have to have that written into some legal documentation.
Oh, yes. If any of the rest of you are interested in this, then please. Not that I'm expecting any of the rest of you to die imminently, but just in case.
Also, but if I do, it's fine. I see.
Well, I assumed that when I was summoned here that you were already dead.
Fair, I guess.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Okay. So what now?
Well, it looks like we'll have to possibly speak with Dr. Delaney.
May I leave?
Yes.
Are you muted?
Yep. Sorry, yes. Thank you for your time, and we'll have to definitely get in touch about possible future ideas.
Yes, well, you know where to find me, and if I am for any reason not there, leave a message with my assistant.
Yes, we will.
Pass it on. And he heads back out to continue whatever it is he's doing.
Well, that was a bit concerning. You see, his reference to reducing a body down to its salts or its base elements. I've read something similar in another book, which is a resurrection spell, where you basically have a corpse, reduce it down to its base elements with a spell, recast the spell to reform the body effectively as a walking replica of the original. So I suspect that's what he's read somewhere, which it's a bit of a concern that he's got this information, but
Oh, so he is cultist, I guess. Okay.
well, not really. I'd say cultist worship something.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say possibly an occultist.
Now, the body that would be resurrected, does it say have its old consciousness, or is it just a shell?
It's a very good question. Keeper, what do I remember about that spell?
In the book, it supposedly resurrects them complete with their consciousness. They are, to all extents, a living, breathing human person. They are not, like,
A zombie.
a dead person. No, they are a living, breathing person. Supposedly. You've never seen it done.
Of course, not yet.
To your
Always the
knowledge.
first time. Basically, from what I recall, it brings them back as a living, breathing person with their consciousness.
Oh, there is hope then, Max.
But I suspect the mind might not be in the best state, having been killed and brought back.
I don't particularly care for the idea of resurrecting a body.
Neither do I.
I'd rather, stay alive as I am right now.
Exactly.
So could we, just find our healing before we try to, resurrect me?
Well, yeah, something like that.
It feels a little odd to talk so frank about your own death without there being a reason for it. We'll be fine.
So shall we go to Whitechapel? Or
Yeah.
all together? Or just some of us? All right.
I mean, without me would be problematic, I assume.
If he's able to do something, it would be if you stayed here. But if he's unable to do anything, then this is putting strain on your body.
This is fine. I'm able to walk. And
Probably
we'll
best that we
assume
all
we're
go.
taking the carriage, so most of the work's got to be done by the horses, right?
Probably best that we all go. Mortis, Max will have to go, obviously, to check his injuries. I'd like to go to keep an eye on him to make sure, well, he's not a quack.
That's my concern, is that potentially that he is an illegitimate doctor, and that might be why he's not practicing anymore.
Could be. But there is another option. I've got an idea of a way to fix it, potentially with serpent person medical information.
In that case, we'll need to find... what ingredients are you needing for that?
Well, yeah, still got quite a cough at the moment. I can probably get most of the ingredients I'd need, but the two I can't are tied in particularly with serpent person information, something called dissolving venom and desiccating venom. But I think I've got an idea who I could talk to about that.
Well, then, if Dr. Delaney's information proves to be false, then we can make those stops as needed and do that.
Sounds a plan.
All right, then let's go. Daytimes are wasted.
So we're heading over into the east end of London. Is that correct?
Yes.
Taking the carriage over, away from the broad avenues and like the squares of Grosvenor Square and Mayfair and the very upmarket part of London in which the society sits, over into the more chaotic and closely built streets of East London. Although Whitechapel itself is run through by the Mile End Road, which runs from the city all the way out to Mile End, this long, broad thoroughfare. The streets are often just smaller, but you can take a carriage easily along this wide main road that leads into the east end of London. So the address you've been given for Delaney's clinic is down one of these side streets. Not so much an address as it's like the third house past the pub, then left at the bakery.
Glad we're doing this during the day.
Yeah, as you get close, like you're going to have to leave the carriage on the main road and make your way on foot the rest of the way. Down this.
Do any of us know anything about this area of London? Seeing some of us are native to London.
You would know. Hang on. Have we got the map of London up?
Yes.
So yes, Whitechapel is. Let me see if it's on this map or if we've gone off this map. It's just. It should be over. The Whitechapel Road that becomes Mile End Road is over here.
It's not that far. Okay.
It's not that far. As I said, it's at the time this was the east end of London around this area. Nowadays this is central London. This is not a long way out. A lot of this, so you're just out of what is the actual city of London, which I am going to be honest, I have no idea what the city of London would have looked like in the 1890s, because that is one of the areas of London that is now all like skyscrapers and very much more modern buildings, so there's not much of... There are bits, but there's less historic bits of this end of London remaining. But yeah, Mile End, you've got these narrow streets leading off the main road. It's known for its poverty, for the rise of if you pass by lots of buildings that would be known as like gin palaces and gin houses. The scourge of cheap and easily available gin is rife in London still at this point. There's various acts and control orders to try and like reduce the sale of gin, and there's the temperance movement in full swing, to promote the ills of drink and the damage it does, especially in this poverty-stricken East End of London. You see shops, opium dens, narrow side streets, sort of clogged with filth. This is not a good part of town. This is also the part of town known for the murders of Jack the Ripper, and not. I'm going to assume that Elsie did not tell Cynthia where she was going, because this is not the sort of place that Cynthia would approve of a young lady such as Elsie going.
No, it was business relating to the Esoteric, so no.
Yeah. Anything else before you go to Dr. Delaney's clinic?
I think I'll be. Okay, thanks. I think I'll be watching the opium den for a second, thinking about whether that should, that would help with at least the pain. But then being like, no, not maybe after, right?
You're probably quite glad you didn't bring Ignatius on this trip.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, I think Mortimer will probably bring his cane sword just in case.
Yeah, it's fine. Or maybe have like a stick I walk on.
Yeah, it's early afternoon by the time you're hobbling and picking your way down this alleyway. There's some very suspicious looking puddles here. And a drain running down the side of the street that seems to potentially also be serving as a sewer. But you see a painted sign that says... In fact, it doesn't really say anything. You'd see there's a wooden painted sign which shows the rod of Asclepius. So a symbol of a rod with a snake coiling around it. So it's a symbol for medicine. Painted on the side of a building. And there's a line of people outside. You see a woman holding a rather sickly looking baby. Another person coughing into a handkerchief as they're lined up outside this clinic.
Perhaps we should join the queue.
Yeah, just stand behind there. For somebody that's closed down their shop, this is a plentiful of patients.
Yeah, you're joining the queue.
It'll be fine.
Is there anything unusual about the people queuing as well, other than illness?
They mostly look rather down on their luck. Like, no one's wearing new clothes, lots of thin-faced children, people with you can see a few with what clearly are long and badly healed injuries. People are looking at you with some confusion.
Yeah, we're conspicuously out of place.
Yes.
Although I'm not quite wearing my best. But still, that's probably better than what they're wearing.
Yes. Even your worst is better than their best. But, yeah, you hear a few. Oh, no. Never seen them before around here. Yeah. Mutterings as people look your way, but no one is accosting you. You hear a voice. You're getting close to the front now. You hear a man's voice call. Next! Come on in.
Now, the people going in, there's an equal number of people coming out, right?
Yes, people are coming out again. You see people
Okay.
coming out the other end. Some of them holding like bundles or packages. Some look hopeful, some look just as despairing as they were when they went in.
Could I do a medical roll to see about the people coming out, regards any treatments I can see that they've had,
Yeah, you can give me a medicine roll.
just to see, to assess how good their treatment.
Or a spot hidden if you're trying to actually look for what it is that's going on here.
One or the other.
I'm gonna say for medicine you probably have to get close and go over and examine them.
Fair enough. I'll have to do spot hidden, and it's just I'm not going to examine them because it kind of defeats the purpose of being here. I could just treat everyone in the queue. I'll do a spot hidden and a second.
You can't see, like, mostly, as I said, they're carrying. You see a couple of them carrying like small bundles wrapped in paper, as if they've been given something to take away with them. You don't most of the people here aren't sort of obviously wounded, so not got bandaged wounds. It's more seems to be illness. Seems to be the main problem.
Medicines they've been given or something.
Potentially, you can't see what they are. You can just see that like some of them are carrying things. Some of them said they look more hopeful. There's a spring in a couple of steps. But
that's good.
Next! And you realise that the four of you are now at the front of the line.
Well, I'm gonna go in.
One of us.
You see a woman coming out the other side carrying, the baby you saw in the line before, and a package under their other arm, as you're heading in to. It's down a couple of steps into this small room. It's lit by one window and a couple of gas lamps. You see there are shelves along the wall. There's a door leading to another part of the building. There is a sturdy-looking wooden table in the centre of the room, like an examination table, as well as it was like a dentist's chair, like a chair. I don't know what you call them.
A chair can be strapped into.
It does have straps on the arms, yes. A chair with straps on the arms. There's shelves on the walls. You see, there's a man who's washing off his hands in a basin on a table to one side, and a.
At least he's washing his hands. Not all doctors did at this point.
No. And he says, "Hop yourself into the chair. Hang on, I'll just be a sec." He has not turned around and looked at you yet. But you can see from the back of his head, he's got greying hair, a large bald patch. Quite tall. Looks to be wearing some sort of overall apron.
You are Dr. Delaney, yes?
Tess seems frozen. Oh, okay, now she's back.
Just frozen in thought. No.
No, are we all in the room with Max?
I followed him in.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I would have.
More of you than I expected. Yes, Dr. Delaney.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
Yes.
Our friend here has some unusual injuries, and we've heard about your miraculous cures. We were hoping you might have an idea of what could be done about it.
I'll start unbandaging the injury of one arm, not the other.
All right.
Came to me. Well, you are far from my usual clientele. Let's take a look. Ooh.
This is a couple of days old.
Takes a little a set of tweezers and a little I want to call it a spatula, but I'm really thinking of kind of just a prodding tool. I'm the wrong sort of doctor. A metal prodding thing.
Scalpel?
That's the word. Let's call it a scalpel.
No, scalpel's not prodding, it's stabbing thing.
Yeah, you can prod things with a scalpel.
They've got two ends, a sharp end and a dull
Yeah,
end.
he's pointing it with the sharp end, but just delicately, like just.
You just use a spoon.
When this injury, we noticed it was not doing well. I had gone and found that you had a book of miraculous cures, and we were wondering if maybe you have some information on how to cure this, or to help it heal.
I wouldn't call them miracles, merely unorthodox approaches. It was other people that called them miracles. I did fall out with the publisher who wrote that book up. That was not what I was intending. I've never claimed any powers of miracle work or magic. I am merely a doctor working with the tools I've got.
That might be problematic then.
But I mean, this wound looks bad, but I don't think it will take a miracle to mend it. Merely a strong treatment. Have you had any other side effects other than the necrotic tissue and the oozing?
It seems to affect my thinking process in some way.
Yeah.
I'm slower, less strong of will, maybe.
Mind distracted, Adel? The poison seeping into your brain, perhaps? This was... So you got another one on the other arm, too?
I'll just strip like the bandage.
How high did this dog jump? Oh, sorry, I assume this is some sort of dog bite? Yes?
No, it's been... I mean, some sort
Not
of
a dog?
creature, right?
A person? Wait, what bit you?
A creature with mouths in its hand? I'm not sure what I
You
saw.
mean about the adult mind, yes. Yes. I fear this is just worse than I thought.
All
Ken
right.
looks over to the rest of you with with sympathy in his eyes. Yes. I can't promise I can fix it entirely, but yes, I can.
He does not want to lose his arms.
No, I don't
He's
think
very
that would be
attached to them.
I don't think that would be necessary in the slightest. I think a topical application to deal with the wounds and a tincture to hopefully lessen the mental effects. Would you bear with me one moment?
Sure.
And he walks over towards the side door of the room and heads out. You hear his footsteps descending the stairs, and you hear him calling, Delphine? Can I have you up here for a moment? Delphine? And then his voice gets more muffled as he heads downstairs.
Well, he's not in the know.
I'll go to the door and crack it open. See if I can hear anything down the stairs.
Okay, give me a listen check, please.
And that is a fail.
Yes, you do not hear what is going on downstairs.
Would someone have to go to the door to hear, or
Yeah, she said she's listening at the door that leads downstairs.
I've got it cracked open.
Yeah.
Maybe
through the crack, you can see it leads into like a stairwell that goes up and down.
could I try a listen roll as well? But probably not go up to the door, so it'd be higher difficulty.
Yeah,
But
yeah. If you're just trying to listen from where you are now, it'd
Yeah.
be hard.
you never know. Let's see.
Hmm.
No, you can't hear what's going on down there.
Well,
Is there anything
Mortimer?
either of you want to do whilst they're gone?
Hmm.
Or whilst he's
Mortimer,
gone?
what do you think
Yep.
of this guy so far?
Seems like a normal doc. So far.
I'll snoop the room, check the paperworks and everything that he might have laying about.
Well, I'm curious what his tinctures are and treatment. I probably want to examine them before we actually use them to see what they are.
If Elsie and Mortimer are looking around in the room, then I'll go stand by the door, listen for him to come back.
Okay, so you're listening for their return. Give me a listen check. You've not probably got very long to search the room, so you know there's the shelves. There seems to be some paperwork. Is there anything you're focusing on particularly here? Anything like, are you focusing on what's on his shelves, focusing on what's on his paperwork?
I will be focusing on the paperwork, see if there's anything particular. You seem to have been muted.
Yep, sorry, I was muted on the mic rather than Zoom. I'll check the shelves whilst Elsie checks the paperwork.
Okay, both of you give me a spot hidden, please. Maximilian, anything you want to be doing?
So I'm gonna be sitting there in this chair. I think I'm gonna stay where I am. But I'm gonna let my gaze I'm gonna go take in the big picture, see if anything's odd.
Yeah, can
I
you give me a
would like
spot
to
hidden
spend
as well,
luck.
please?
I will spend luck to bring it down to a success.
Okay.
That's 5 points, I believe.
Yes, it would be.
Thank
you. John, you're not hearing anything. Really? No, John, you're keeping a very good lookout. You'll definitely hear when they're returning. You're very certain of that. You know you're doing a brilliant job. You go. Elsie, searching through the paperwork, you can see the main bit of paperwork seems to be this, what looks to be a large logbook open on the table, which has a list of names. And next to each name is a few notes on... give me a language own roll, please, here, because you realise this... He has terrible handwriting.
That's...
Yeah, but you were able to make out this his handwriting. You see the name of like Sally Miller, consumption, 3 ounce tincture 5, bed rest plus return 4 days. So it seems to be a list of people's names, his diagnosis of them, and what he prescribed. It's this big logbook. You can see there's several more on the shelf above, looking equally large. The only other document you can sort of get a chance to look at in this quick scan around other than his logbook is there's a letter sort of shoved to the back of this shelf, which has the logbook and a pestle and mortar and various other sort of tools on it, is a letter from the bank demanding repayment, final demand for repayment of a loan.
Does it say what the loan's for?
It just says that he owes the bank £30, which is a considerable sum.
Mm-hmm.
Mortimer, as you're searching around the shelves, you can see there are lots of bottles and little packets labelled up. Lots of these seem to contain pre-made pills, but you see others are powders and casings and a little like pill press for the making of pills, little dosage bottles for dosing out medicines.
Yep.
You recognize quite a lot of common medicines that you would use. There's also lots that are labelled with just numbers, just like 4,
His own
5,
recipes,
7,
basically.
his own recipes. What did you get? It's just success.
It's just success.
Yeah, so there's a lot of regular, a lot are just labelled with numbers or scribbled symbols that don't mean anything to you, seem to be his shorthand of some sort.
Doesn't look like Narcle, does it?
Hard to tell with just a symbol,
Because
like
I
a squiggle
remember
there with a
the,
line through it, like that could be a Narcle symbol or it could just be someone's code.
I just remember the bottle of this skin removing potion, which
Give
had a
me a
Narcle.
Narcle roll. See if this is Narcle or if this is just Doctor's handwriting.
We'll see.
Maybe you should have...
No.
Hard to tell. And... I said, Maximilian, from where you are, looking around the room, you can see Mortimer rummaging over the shelves, Elsie flicking over the papers, John listening out at the door. You can see through the grimy window, you can see the queue of people outside. You can also see, from your angle, from your vantage point where you're looking, underneath like this bench, this shelving that runs around the side of the wall, you can see a little door, like a little hatch in the wall tucked away in one corner.
All right.
As you see that, John, the door is pushed open almost immediately in your face, as you didn't see him coming up the stairs, but you didn't hear him coming up the stairs, but Dr. Delaney has now returned. So the rest of you had no warning of his return, so you're still, like, Mortimer looking at the shelves, Elsie looking at the book. As Dr. Delaney returns, followed by a woman in an apron, and her hair pinned back. She looks probably in her mid-20s, so quite a lot younger than Dr. Delaney.
Oh.
Make yourself at home, I see.
I was just being nosy at, well, these. But, anyhow.
Yeah, well, this is my wife, Delphine. She helps me
nice
mix
to meet
up
you.
some of our tinctures. Have a look at this. He was bitten by some sort of... He looks to the rest of you rather than Maximilian. Some sort of dog?
Yeah, something like that. A wild animal, basically. We're not entirely sure.
Some sort of wild animal. Now he's suffering from delusions and this infected wound. I was thinking tincture number 7 for the delusions and topical application of 4? 4? No, for that I would go 13. You really think? I don't think that would be that. Whatever bit him? She kind of looks at Maximilian. She's leaning down, like prodding at your wound with one finger.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever bit him was a very unusual dog.
Keeper, does she smell like a snake person?
Make me, I guess, spot hidden. Are you?
Spot hidden.
My question, yeah.
We need
My
a smell
question
check at some point.
We need to invent the smell skill because it's used so much.
Okay.
You know what? It does say add skill.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I will think about this. I'm imagining having to create your character, and for someone who's not played this game before, and also decide how well your character can smell things. They're like, okay, you can.
Basically, whether there's that serpenty smell that he picks up.
Mostly, what you smell on her is, sort of layers. You can smell the caustic smells of some strong chemicals, mingled in with blood and so blood, strong chemicals, some sort of various sort of pungent, like chemically medicinal smells. Definitely a very strong scent of antiseptic. But beneath it all, that familiar musky reptile house smell. Yes, that should do it. Well, I now have my second opinion.
What is in the topical ointment? What number was that? You said 13?
Topical ointment 13. He pulls it out of a drawer underneath the shelf. Preparatory ingredients. It should remove the infection and aid the swift healing of the wound. And if it's no better in 3 days' time, come back and see me again, and I can discuss any further patterns of treatment. So apply a thin layer of this to the wound every morning and evening. And this, he holds up a bottle of greenish coloured liquid. 3 drops before bed.
And what's the tincture?
I do have a question, though, just a
Secret
professional
recipe.
question.
Yes.
I'd been reading some obscure recipes recently for treatment of these sort of injuries. I'd heard too a tincture to do with dissolving venom and a second tincture to do with desiccating venom.
Well, those don't sound like good medicinal ingredients. That's for sure.
Exactly.
No.
Is
Yes,
there
I'd
any,
be wary of taking their medical advice.
is there any
Definitely.
change of expression on Delphine's face when
Give me a
Mortimer
psychology
says-
roll, please.
Yep, that's what I was waiting for as well.
I'm down.
Nope, not for me.
No, she still seems intent on Maximilian's wound,
I'm just staring to see her
peering at
reactions.
the edges of the wound. She doesn't react to what you or Samson are saying. Well,
Delphine,
yes, this,
correct?
yes.
What do you think the beast is? I wasn't there when the attack happened, and it doesn't seem like it's a dog bite. Do you know by the bite what it could be?
There is. I think it is Sumatra or one of the islands near there. They have dragons, and their bite can cause infection similar to this.
That takes longer.
Well, you would know. Whether you have you recently been bitten by any
No.
large lizards?
No,
Or
it
dragons?
wasn't the lizard.
Hmm.
Its hands bit me.
Yes. Or maybe he was bitten by the hand monster, as he says. But don't
Who
worry.
knows? Stranger things may have happened.
Dr. Delaney, is
My
this a
husband's medicine will see it treated well.
is this a pay-as-you-go clinic, or should you bill us?
This is a pay what you can. Please, if you have the means to make a donation, please leave it on your way out.
Do I see the
There is
The
an empty jar on the end on the wooden bench. Yes.
All right. I will take 4 10-pound notes out and put them in the jar.
So make me a credit rating roll here, because that is probably more money than you would carry at this time. Like that
That's
is.
success?
So you could probably pull up about half of that.
Okay, then I'll put 20 in. Two 20-pound notes.
Yeah, like
220 pounds.
20 pounds. Yeah, but, yeah. Let's say a considerable sum of money.
Yes.
Like all the money. You see, like Delaney's eyes go wide. Like he's astonished by like this level of generosity. Why? Thank you. Thank you very much.
No. Yeah. Thanks. And I'll take these then, right?
Yes, and if you have any issues, you know where to find us. The clinic is open from noon till nightfall every day.
Thanks. And I'll follow the others out, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, as you head back out of Dr. Delaney's clinic and he calls for his next patient, that is where we're going to go to break. Once I find OBS. Yes. Break. We'll see you here in 10 minutes' time. We are back. So you leave Dr. Delaney's clinic down this alley in Whitechapel. Are you returning to the society, or do you have another destination in mind?
I'd like to have a look at the substances
Okay, you're going to examine them
en route, I think.
as in the carriage or whilst you're walking?
Probably in the carriage would be best.
Okay, as you're walking back to the carriage, can you give me a group look roll, please?
12.
57.
53.
Okay,
It's
so
the 12 that's rolling then.
let's see. That is a fail.
Alright, as you make your way back towards the carriage, 2 figures step out of the shadows. One tall guy with what looks like brass knuckles on. The other, a shorter guy, carrying what can be best described as a large club. He's like a big piece of wood, he's just holding it in his hand. And
Do I recognise them?
you do recognise them. The tall guy goes, "Alright, empty out your weight."
I recognise you.
You were
Mhm.
Leighton's house. Right? No?
I think you'd recognise Max.
Yes. You recognise Max from Leighton's house, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting the wrong person.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's pointing at Max. I'm clearly pointing at Max. Yeah.
Oh,
He goes, Max, you.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Mortimer, you would recognise him, but he didn't see you. You were hiding right when they turned up again. You and
So
Yeah.
I recognise his voice as one of the two that was getting into the house.
Yes, they were snooping around the house when you were already snooping around the house.
And I left with the money.
Yes. But yeah, he points at Max and goes, Hey, it's door guy. Right. He's alright, helped us out.
Oh, you got the money as well from that house.
Was it worth it?
How do you know that?
I had been searching the house for
Wait,
innocent.
hang on. Davenport, right?
Yes, Dr. Mortimer Davenport at your service.
What is this?
I can't remember how I know you, but I do know you from somewhere.
You know my brother,
Augustus.
Franco.
Oh, Franco. Actually, I've met Franco's brother.
Yes.
You saved him from the cult.
Yes, he's putting it together now. It was a couple of years ago. You lived a chaotic life, but you do.
It's been a long time. Last time I saw you, we had just left that
Yeah, we
underground.
blew up a building.
Yes, we did. Those days, eh?
What are you
What
doing
brings you
wandering around Whitechapel? I heard. I call it a bunch of fancy folk wandering around alleys and sort of,
Well,
come by. I didn't realise it was you. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Oh, you.
How have you been, anyway?
Kind of looks around. Things could be better. Things could be
living the
worse.
dream.
Still not heard anything from Franco. Don't know. He ran off, disappeared in Paris.
Did I
Wouldn't know any more about that?
I was actually in Paris when he vanished. It was a bit strange. We were stopping at a hotel. The following morning, we found he'd made a rope of sheets from the room. He's not very good at climbing, you may have known.
Hey, Franco, I mean, he used to practice climbing a lot.
He practiced a lot. He fell over a lot of times. But we were
so
due
he
to
climbed
leave.
out his window? I just heard he'd run off in France and no one had heard from him since. I assumed he'd found a nice Parisian girl, but maybe that's just being hopeful.
Well, he seemed to have ran off in the middle of the night. The rope ladder thing he made up, or rope, only reached halfway, so he must have taken a bit of a tumble as well at the bottom. But yeah, haven't heard or seen him since.
Well, I'm sorry for troubling you. I'll let you.
Oh, it's no problem.
Gents, and you, miss, on your way.
And if ever you need the services of a doctor, just look me out.
Well, we've got good old Delaney down the road.
That's true. That's
not much he can't fix.
His miracle cures.
He's great.
We should be getting on before it gets too dark. You get some dangerous types around here.
You do, but I'll pass the word around. Rest of Miss Green's people, make sure no one gives you any trouble.
How is she doing anyway?
Wait, you know May Green as well?
May Green, yeah.
Well, she's got most of Whitechapel. Got fingers everywhere.
Yeah, I know she took over after Augustus Green sort of passed over his network over to him.
Protection rackets. She's got an eye on the betting houses. Most people,
But keeps her busy.
Well, I guess Miss Potts' influence did not last very long.
To do what you have to do to survive.
Yeah. But yeah, not everyone here. There's a quite a bit of rivalry, so I'd still be careful around here. Some people will stay away from you if they know that we're old friends, and others will have all the more incentive to swing a bag of bricks into your face.
Exactly.
So, well, you better, as he said, get going before it gets too dark.
Exactly. Well,
if you do hear anything from Franco, please let me know.
Oh, definitely. You'll be the first person I know. Yeah. Well, I'll let know.
Yeah. And Henry turns off into the alley, his companion with him.
That went well.
Yeah, that was interesting.
You know those fellows.
Yes, strangely enough. We can talk in the carriage, it'll be easier.
Okay. Yeah, you get back into your carriage, which is exactly where you left it. Nobody has bothered Bo.
Odd. I can't understand why.
Yeah, quite some years ago, there was a member of the society, Franco Bernice, a journalist of sorts, used to, he was an investigator with the society. He vanished in Paris, unfortunately, but that was his brother, who we rescued from an underground temple to the Black Pharaoh before he could be ritually sacrificed to the Pharaoh. And then we blew the temple up.
I mean, that's the obvious solution to all cultic problems, right?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, we did what we could. We buried it. We didn't actually destroy the temple. For some reason, it was a bit of a strange place.
Black Pharaoh.
Candles wouldn't stay lit. Things would be blown out. And there was a rather large black serpent-like, dragon-like tentacle creature that was made up of shadows in there as well, which somehow we killed. And we escaped.
Hopefully it stayed dead?
Oh, it'll stay dead.
And if not, it's buried now, isn't it?
Oh, the temple's buried, but we couldn't actually destroy the altar or the temple, but we could collapse it in on itself.
See, Black
It's
Pharaoh.
a small world.
I think I heard you mention that once we were back in that house. We had to dispatch that fellow that was back in Oxford, but we're done.
Well, just so you're all aware, I suspect Mrs. Delaney is a serpent person.
What? How did you know?
You can pick up if you visit like a reptile house, you can pick up the smell of snakes, and she's got a bit of an underlying smell of a serpent person. I've just been really I've encountered a number of serpent people, and I've gotten used to what they smell like, and I can recognize it now.
All right. Does that make her more or less trustworthy in terms of these things?
I don't think it makes her any more or less trustworthy, but it gives us an insight into her that she doesn't know that we know.
I mean, that does mean that she knows about the weird stuff, and I mean, they're people that help the surroundings for no money.
Yeah, they seem to be doing good work.
They've debt due. They've had a loan out, and it looks like it's due, and they've been given warning. That's part of the reason why I put so much in their jar. If they are helping people for the truth of it, then, and with how many people they had going in and it was still empty.
Well, I imagine most of those who couldn't afford much, if anything, so they were doing it out of generosity mostly.
Yeah, it may be worth us trying to see if we can help them keep afloat some fashion. But I wasn't expecting her to be a serpent person, but there you go. I'd love to have a look at the tinctures and that to see if they're completely unknown to me. I suspect they are, because these serpent people, there's plants that they've got access to and things like that, which I have never seen before. And I've got a feeling those solutions you have there probably are completely unknown to me.
I mean,
It could work.
I have a funny idea. You could go and ask her to teach you Nakal.
But then she would realize I know. I've already there's another snake person, I believe, who works at the Natural History Museum. Dr. Giles Bennett, I believe. I think he's a snake person. He's, strangely enough, the expert they have on snakes. Complete coincidence, of course. I suspect he's a snake person now.
Well, I mean, he would have the smell of reptiles on him if he's handling them all the time.
Not really. He doesn't handle them as such. The smell is off him. It's not around him or near him. The smell is emanating from him.
Then, so some of these serpent people are okay, but some are not?
I don't know. I mean, I've encountered one that was trying to get Shipley to do some paintings that would drive people insane.
I remember that one, the one who disguised herself as his mother.
Yep. I believe McCrashley encountered another one that was doing something strange with some strange ritual stones around this lord's manor or house or something. I don't understand the full story there, but she tried to kill people. Then there's the other one, most recently, that had been not actually harmed people, but it had been abducting cats to feed them to a giant snake. So I suspect they probably are as different as we are. They're intelligent creatures, sentient, and I mean, you can meet good people and bad people. It must be the same with them.
I mean, that's fair.
The notion that they are walking and living amongst us is not something that most people would take well to.
Exactly. I don't think there's many of them, which is why they tend to stay hidden or disguised, because if people were to realise they were about, it could cause panic or they could be wiped out.
Well, does her husband know then?
I have no idea.
Or does she just keep it disguised with all the chemicals potions she's working on?
He might not notice, but I don't know.
Behind his clinic. Well,
if she can hide from him, you think there's half snake people?
I'm not really an expert on snakes or snake people. I suspect it's completely different species, so no, I don't think it would work. But who knows with magic? Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
I've come across half fish people.
That's very true. We have. Has Mortar encountered Oh, yeah. Technically, yes. He has encountered half-fish people.
Yeah, I don't know if he's knowingly encountered half-fish people.
No, but he was told Franco was looking rather fishy.
Yes. I don't think... Yeah, but Franco's half-fish in a different way.
That's true.
Yeah, that situation smelled. Oh well. I think Mortimer wanted to analyze my medicine before I'm taking it, but otherwise I would.
Yeah, it is evening. Oh, late afternoon, coming on for evening, when you have returned to the society or any other places you want to go back to. If you want to go back to the society or your shop or wherever you wish to go to try and carry out an examination of these tinctures and medicines.
Yeah. The society is probably the best one because it makes sense for us all to head there.
Yeah. So yeah, you're back. You arrive back at the society, which is still standing. No one's burnt it down in your absence. And yeah, if you give me a chemistry, biology roll if you have it. Failing that, and medicine, but it will be a straight medicine roll will be harder.
Good points.
Yeah, I'll spend the 2 points of luck to make it a hard success.
Yeah, so you can tell that some of the ingredients inside the tincture, the bottle that you've been given to drink. You can tell there's definitely a touch of laudanum in there, amongst other things. But there's something in there that, like, you're working off smell here. We haven't got a mass spec to separate out the ingredients. So you're sure there's something else in there that there's an undercurrent to the scent that you just do not recognize. It's something slightly fragrant and sweet smelling. The ointment, what was that? Number 13. The number 13 ointment. Definitely somewhat caustic in nature.
Yes.
And you can determine, based on a couple of little tests, that it seems to be designed to partially dissolve any infected flesh and dry up the oozing separation of the wound. You think this could be the same ointment that was described in those notes you saw?
Yes, it could be. Yeah, this looks like it could be the dissolving venom. Or at least a tincture of it. So these look like they could be the same substances that were mentioned in the notes we found.
All right. I'm gonna use the medicines. Once evenings, once mornings, you said.
For the ointment, yes, we can do that. I suggest only using it on one arm first to see if there's a difference. If it actually does anything.
Oh, sure.
And if it so happens that it does something, one day might not affect the other arm in difference. Maybe. Unless you feel you want to use it on both arms.
I mean, sure, then we could be... We would find out more, I guess. But I think I trust them. So I think I'm just going to use it on both.
It is your body, your choice at the end.
And what's the worst that can happen? I get reincarnated.
Your arms both fall off.
Exactly, I'm becoming zombie boy.
Or you turn into a snake person and then your arms fall off anyway because...
True. Or the arms turn into snakes.
And snakes people are really lizard people because snakes don't have arms.
But I'm curious about having a sample of this after this treatment. Hopefully this all works.
Okay, so you're applying the medicines and settling down for the evening. Is there anything anyone else wants to do that evening?
Yes.
Yes?
I am going to sit down in my room with a sketchbook and start drawing what I think these serpent people look like when they're not wearing human skins, and also potentially what they look like as half human, half snake person.
Alright, yeah, give me a roll, let's say.
Keeper, could I draw a snake person from memory?
That's a fail.
You can give me an art roll as well if you want to try
Just,
and see what...
why not? We do a comparison the following day.
Yeah, Elsie, well, I don't know if Elsie's sharing these images or if it's a personal, collection of snake people drawings. But yeah, it's not one of your best ones, Elsie.
No, not mine either.
It's definitely not one of your best ones. Well, it might be one of your best ones, but it's not not great. I don't know how much drawing Mortimer normally does, but you're trying to replicate what the snake person looked like, and
yeah, I don't think we're sharing our drawings the following day.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, has anyone else got anything they want to do with that evening?
I think John will return to the scene of the crime in the library. Just to see if he can clean up any more.
As you return to the library, you will see that the cushion that was burnt is gone, and a new rug has been placed over the burnt patch on the floor.
Oh,
There's
magic.
still a large singed patch on like the settee where like the fire was, but someone has artfully like put the new cushion like on top of it, so it's almost. No, you can still see it. Someone's
okay.
made an effort that you could almost not see it if you were like
Would I have any idea
dark
who...
and you were like kept your eyes half closed?
Would I have any idea which one it was that of the staff that took care of it?
You know that there's James, there's Agnes, there's a couple of other maids as well. Whose names I always forget. I think one's called Jenny.
Yes, one is called Jenny, and
I want to say Missy for the other one, but I think I may just be.
I think you're correct. I think Missy is the other one.
Yes.
Well, since they would normally have a schedule of who's doing the rooms.
Jenny's
and such.
the upstairs one. Missy's the scullery maid.
Ah. Yes. Stop putting my nose to shame.
Jenny would have been the one to do it then.
Yeah, it would be Jenny.
Okay. Well, if I happen to see her, then I will thank her and for cleaning it up and her discretion.
No worries, sir. I'm going to try and do something about the settee.
Thank you very much.
I've done what I can for the time being. Yeah, James was not very pleased. He thought we'd managed to set fire to it, but I said that we didn't know anything about it.
You just found
And
it that
he
way.
believed me.
Okay. All right then. Well, thank you again.
No problem, sir. So,
Yes.
Yes.
Potentially, if Max lets him, Morton would like to borrow the book. Well, actually, he can just take measurements off it, probably, to replicate it anyway.
Probably fine, yeah. As long as you're not trying to read it while nobody's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
I
Give
would
me a
never do that
forgery
sort of
roll
thing.
then. Let's see. Count this roll for the efforts of. It's going to take 2 days of proper work to replicate this book, unless you get an extreme success here.
Oh, that's a fail.
That's a fail. Okay, so we will see. You're taking the measurements. Essentially, you have a feeling that you're not you can make a good replication of this book.
I do like the idea of doing a copy of it, so I'm going to spend a luck. How much luck is that? That's a lot.
That would be. Hang on. I want to say
21.
19. No, wait.
21.
21.
21. Thank you.
I'll spend the 21 luck then.
I can do maths. Which is a very bad sign.
No one who's been on the university for long enough can do math.
I have a computer that does maths for me.
Exactly.
So it's just a standard success end with luck.
Yes. Yeah, so it's going to take you 2 days of work, but you can do this. You can replicate this.
One other thing I'd like to do, if possible, the notes I've got on Arkle, I want to do a comparison between that and the markings on the stuff in the doctor's place.
Okay, so this is from memory.
Yeah, so I'd have to have quite a success, to be fair.
Yes, you need quite a success on this, but yes, you can give me a narcle roll, please.
You never know.
You don't know. You can't remember them well enough. And they were Narkle in Doctor's handwriting, so
It's worth a try.
yeah. No, you can't match them up to anything you know about Narkle.
It looked like shorthand, and some Narkle probably looks like shorthand, so I can't compare them.
Yeah. So yes, Mortimer has his measurements, Maximilian has his treatments, Elsie has some dubious drawings that, you know... Well, I suppose they're drawn from imagination, so it's more, you know, who's to say that they're wrong? But yeah, that, I think, brings that day to an end. The next day, Elsie has a visit to the museum arranged. I don't think she's mentioned that to anyone else. I can't remember if she had or not.
No, I don't think she mentioned it to anyone else. Miss Cynthia Plum will be going with as chaperone, but nobody else.
Okay.
But having said that, if it's a new Egyptian
It is
exhibit,
a new Egyptian exhibit at the British Museum. It is open for all.
so is it tied in with that? Was it Howard Phillips?
Howard Phillips has returned from his expeditions in Egypt and is exhibiting his discoveries. You would know of this?
That's strange.
Yes?
I thought he was dead.
You killed Howard Phillips! Oh god. Howard Phillips has not returned. His findings have. Yes. Thank you. I was losing track of my I have several Egyptologists in play here. I forgot that he is the dead one. Yes. So it is the I have to fix this in the edit. Howard Phillips. His discoveries are returning from Egypt. Obviously, minus Howard Phillips, who died in a freak cat-related accident. That I, of course, remembered. See what I mean about other people keeping better notes than me? So, yes, these are the posthumous discoveries of Howard Phillips. Possibly why it's getting even more press and news and excitement, because the whisper going around London is that the Egyptologist who discovered all these things was mauled to death by some sort of desert lion that had got into his hotel room and torn him to pieces.
Tragic.
It happens abroad, you see. All these strange countries.
And given
animals.
his horrific and gruesome death, there's been a lot of attention on this exhibit. So, if any of the rest of you wish to attend,
absolutely,
exhibit,
yes.
And would you be going with members of the society or on your own?
Well, if we're going to make it a group outing, sure.
Well, I haven't said that. John Greaves would probably recognise the name Howard Phillips, because I mentioned it regards the...
This is with Nerys.
Nerys, yeah. So that would probably get your interest enough to visit the exhibit as well.
Yeah. So we've got two groups going to the exhibit. We've got Mortimer and John and Maximilian too.
Sure. I mean, Maximilian would probably not be interested on its own, but he would, accompany them.
You don't have to go.
He would accompany them, but more for not for his own interest.
A man got mauled to death by a lion. What
does it
take to pique your interest?
But also, has Max not turned into a snake person come the morning?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Yes, we will see come the morning. Okay, so there's three of you planning to attend the exhibit together, and Elsie, Penhew, and Miss Plum planning to attend together. Both groups currently unaware of the other's plans. So, morning comes. Maximilian? You awake? Feeling feeling refreshed, please add 1 to your intelligence and 1 to your power.
Woo!
And how much did you lose in total?
15, I think, each.
Ouch. Yeah, you feel a little more refreshed. And you can also have 1 point of health back.
Nice.
Your wound looks a little better than it feels a little better than it did yesterday.
Yeah. Right, I'll probably need more of that stuff, but it seems good. It seems like it's helping. Nice.
Now, do you see any difference between the 2 wounds? I mean, is there any obvious?
I think you applied it to both in the end, didn't you?
I applied to both, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there's little to be different spotting here.
I mean, you do have my drawing of the injuries.
No, that's true.
Hey, you can compare.
Somebody else needs to, because the angle's a bit difficult. I'm gonna hold your drawing up and let somebody else look.
Yeah, it does look a bit better. Does look a bit better.
Neat.
Yeah, we're mourning at the society, so is everyone at the society this morning, or are some of you elsewhere?
I would have made my way back from my place.
We'd probably meet at the society, to be fair. Makes sense.
Yeah, so you're gathered up downstairs. Miss Plum is in her room preparing for her day out. She's choosing hats. No, not that one.
I'm going out today.
Elsie is probably as well, considering it's a proper outing rather than the hodgepodge running around that she does generally.
You mean rather than going to a slum or running around the city at night, or doing whatever other unseemly things that you spend your time doing?
Precisely.
Yes. And yeah, as you're getting ready upstairs, the gentlemen are gathered downstairs. There's a knock at the door. You hear James showing someone through into the hall. Ah, Mr. Penhue, I'll let Miss Smith know you're here. Thank you, James.
Do we see him as he comes in?
You hear this conversation going on. This is in the hall downstairs. You can be in the library next door, or you could hear it. You'd probably hear it if you were just up on the next floor. It depends where you are currently. Yeah, you hear it.
All right, I'll come out to meet him.
Oh, Mr. Greaves.
Yeah, Mr. Penhue. Been a while. How are you?
Still good, thank you. Just waiting for Miss Smith and Miss Plum. We thought we'd catch the new exhibit at the British Museum.
Oh, really? Oh, I think Dr. Davenport and Mortuus, or Maximilian and I are going to do the same later today. Coincidence, that?
Yes. Yeah, we will.
I mean, it does sound rather exciting.
It sounds really rather exciting. I mean, poor Phillips. And that's the frankly unusual way to go.
Well,
I guess
these
it's
sort of things
really.
happen. Yes.
Makes one wonder if they're covering up something else that happened. Yeah.
Oh, I have no doubt that it was a bad end that he came to.
So you two are making small talk downstairs in the hall, James comes upstairs to let Miss Smith know that Hugh is awaiting downstairs. Maximilian Mortimer, you can be wherever you wish to be.
I think we might just be comparing the state of my wounds.
Yes.
From one day to another.
Spot the difference with necrotic flesh.
Yep, comparing them to the pictures. It certainly does seem to be an improvement. Do you feel any better?
It feels a little bit. I'm not sure by how much, but it feels like there's I'm feeling a little lighter.
It's a good change either way.
Yeah.
That's good. Very interesting. Perhaps I've got to branch out in my medicine a bit more to see what I can learn from them instead.
Oh, yes. Miss Plum descends. She's selected her hat in the end. She's gone with... I don't know enough about hats of this era. It's a nice hat. Perhaps a little overdone. Oh, Mr. Greaves. Will you be joining us as well?
Well, Dr. Davenport and Max and I were going to be going, but I'm not exactly sure when we were planning, but we'll probably meet there.
Ah, well, in that case we shall see you there. Once we'll be heading off just as soon as Elsie is
At that moment, Elsie comes out of her room and starts down the stairs as well.
down it. The society does have a big, it's a big curving staircase in the society it's got. This is a grand townhouse. Set the scene.
Yay.
Descend. Ah. Miss
Oh,
Smith.
good morning.
Good morning. Is everything well?
Yes.
Me?
Are you well? Are we ready?
Yes, I believe we're ready. Shall we get going? Mr. Greaves was just saying that the others might be heading there later, so we can get a head start on them.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Have a good time.
Yes.
Enjoy.
The carriage awaits. So you...
If he offers his arm, I'll take it, and we'll
he'll
go up.
definitely offer his arm. He's a well-raised gentleman. He hands you up into the carriage, and you head a not very long distance around the corner to the British Museum. Truly, the carriage is probably unnecessary. But it's quite a cold, blustery October day. So you head around. You can see the grand facade of the British Museum with a banner advertising the wonders of Egypt from the late Howard Phillips. As he hands you and Miss Plum down from the carriage, and you head inside. It's not a throng of people. This is but a decent bustling number of people passing through the front doors, eager to see whatever new treasures have come back. You hear someone whispering, "Oh, I do hope there's a mummy." Oh, it's so just wonderfully fascinating. You're like, oh, I can't stand the things. All the bandages. Ugh. Quite disconcerting.
I'll chuckle a little at hearing that. And then I guess we'll go and see the exhibit, whatever it has inside.
Okay, as you head inside, the rest of you back at the society, is there anything you want to do with the morning or the day before you head to the museum? Depends what time you want to head over.
Yeah, Mortimer wants to try something that'll be a bit strange. But he's still got that super powerful catnip stuff, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's got 2 pouches of it left.
Yes.
I would like to pick up one of those said pouches, and I think if would I need to do a roll if I want to dilute it with dusting powder?
No, you can mix
Just
it with
half and
something
half.
else. Yeah.
He's going to dilute it with basically dusting powder and take some of it with him as a precaution in case we encounter a weird were-panther type person. But that's what he's picking up.
Okay. Anything from anyone else? Otherwise, we will head over to the museum, and you can catch up after whatever length of time would have passed before you arrive at the museum, depending on how much time you spend faffing around at the society beforehand.
I don't think we would have been that far behind them. I don't know, half hour, something like that.
Okay,
perhaps?
yeah. We'll say you're about half hour behind.
So if they've got time,
I'll give you a sign, and yeah, I'll let you know when you get there.
You know,
Enough for the 2 of them to enjoy their time.
Yeah, let them do whatever it is they wish to do for a bit.
let the young people do their thing, and we'll just
looking at educational exhibits.
Yes, but I'm sure they have some
It's history.
sparkling conversation between them they'd like to have.
So yes, at the museum, you're making your way around. There are all sorts of items that have been recovered from the sands of Egypt. There are statues, there are canopic jars, there are indeed mummy cases. And depending on if you have essentially left to his own devices, or we will talking quite excitedly about the exhibits. He seems very passionately interested in Egyptology. If you see there, so that is from an early dynasty, a fifth dynasty piece there, but they've got it labelled as 6th dynasty, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know the classifications for this exhibit, but it seems really haphazard and hodgepodge. But sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, it is. It's lovely to hear about something that isn't completely esoteric.
Yeah. I wanted to study Egyptology, but my mother said it was a fad, and I should stick to the classics.
I don't see why you can't also study Egyptology as well as the classics.
No, once I get my degree, and I fully intend to go out there myself and, visit the pyramids. I think would be. I mean, I think pictures, the drawings I've seen of them.
Couldn't you take a
nothing
holiday,
compared to the reality?
an extended holiday, and do that?
Well, perhaps, but I don't get control of the boring subjects. But until I'm 21, my mother controls the family finances. And my allowance is very much dependent on me being at Oxford studying and not gallivanting in the desert, as she puts it.
Well, then you should take a year in the desert after you've turned 21.
Oh, definitely. And not just Egypt. I want to go to Greece and to Rome, do all the sites of antiquity.
That sounds like it would be a wonderful holiday.
Yeah, I'd be on, there's so many fascinating things to see in this world. Have you ever travelled much?
No, not really. I grew up at the country estate and came here a couple of times before settling here. I think Oxford's really the furthest I've been outside of that. Sorry. And Yes. No. I did go to Iceland once to see the volcanoes.
You went to Iceland? And please, tell me everything about it.
Oh, well, it was cold and wet, but oh, so beautiful. I drew one of the volcanoes before the eruption happened, and it was. And I'll go into a short story of what happened before, because we're in the public. I'm going to skip out on the big adventure part.
Yes. Yeah, he's listening intently, hanging on every word. And as you're having this conversation, as you're telling him about your adventures, are you paying much attention to the actual exhibits of the museum? Or
While I'm telling the story, probably not, but before and after, yes.
yeah. So you saw there are a lot of items here. There are statues and pottery. There's the centerpiece of all of this is a piece of jewelry. Beautiful piece of let me get that right. This beautiful like circlet, and it catches your eye because it's wrought in the shape of a cobra. And you have definitely, I feel, have snakes on the mind at the moment. So as you finish your story, you see this beautiful circlet of gold and alabaster and onyx in the shape of an Egyptian cobra sat there in the case. It's like the center point of these findings, alongside this polished stone mirror.
Well, that is lovely. I wish I could try that on.
I think guards here might have a exception to that, but how about I distract them, you smash the case, and then we run out?
Maybe later tonight. We can do that. We can come back tonight.
Excellent. Yes.
Do you know anything about this piece?
Only what it says on the label. It's was recovered from an unnamed tomb in the sands. There used to be some sort of ceremonial garb of a priestess, perhaps. I think someone's just making stuff up. There doesn't have any evidence for that.
Well, and I'll drop my voice pretty low so that only he can hear. Perhaps they might end up seeing some panther lady come by, and if it's here.
Right, yes. Yeah, that would be... Can't remember, has anyone told him about the panther lady? Did you tell him about?
No.
No.
But it's a story I can share.
Please, do tell. That sounds...
Well, when Mr. Johnson first arrived, he had a little cat pendant. And within a couple of days, a large panther seemed to have snuck its way into our home and tried to paint it and wanted to kill us all.
Wait. A large panther. You know how they say... Didn't they say Mr. Phillips was torn apart by a lion? What if the panther got him?
That might have been it.
Sorry, I interrupted your story, but yes, yeah. And as he's reached this realization, You're standing by the case at the centre of the room, and this is probably about the time that the other three arrive to the exhibit. Do you think we should warn the museum about the fact they might be attacked by a panther?
I don't think they'll believe us.
That is probably true. You know, I remember when I first went away to boarding school, and I told them that my house was once infested by a teleporting monster that kidnapped people. They thought I was insane.
But you're not.
That's debatable, but I choose to believe that I am not. And it's the world that's insane, otherwise, well, I start doubting everything. But, yes. I soon learnt not to mention the strange things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next person I did end up mentioning them to them turned out to be a cultist who then wanted to sacrifice me, so...
Well, I don't plan on sacrificing him.
That is excellent news. What about them? He points over the room towards the other society members.
Oh. I don't think Mr. Johnson will. Probably not Mr. Dr. Davenport might. But I don't know if that's something that he's consciously planning or not.
I will consider myself warned. We should probably go and say hello. Although we saw them about an hour ago, so... We can ignore them if you would like.
If you would like to say hello again. It's only been an hour.
Yeah, let's have a look. Should we consider Egyptology done? Have you seen the Assyrian gallery?
No, I haven't. Let's go.
Wonderful. And
I'm just gonna watch this entire exchange, like from 50 meters away.
Yeah, you're across the room. You see them talking by the glass case in the center of the room, and then
basically running away, and I'm like,
yes.
Oh, so cute.
But yeah, the three of you have arrived at the exhibit. You see all these items, people milling around under the watchful eye of museum security.
Do we see Elsie and a date run off into another?
Yes, you see them run off.
Oh well, that's kids for you.
Yeah.
Be fair, Miss Plum.
Miss Plum following after. It's all very proper.
You think somebody should maybe tie up Miss Plum for an hour or two?
Do you feel yourself up to it?
Yeah, sure. I'll leave you to the dusty stuff over here.
I'm going to have a look at some of these exhibits. Keeper, I'm particularly interested if they've got any cat things in this exhibit.
Okay, yeah, you can give me a spot hidden for hidden cat. As you make your way around the exhibit. It's almost striking. This is an Egyptology exhibit. Cats are very common iconography in Egypt.
True.
You see hawks, you see snakes, you see scarabs. There's not a single cat in evidence on any of the items in this exhibit.
That's what I was suspecting. She
Nothing
took everything.
cat-like.
It looks like Neris may have taken everything cat-related out of this exhibit before it got here.
I was wondering if we'd have to worry about that sort of thing. I'm not sure she'd be pleased to see us again.
Hopefully we don't have to meet her again, but there's nothing cat-like in this exhibit, so we should be okay. Is the centerpiece that bracelet?
Yeah, the centerpiece is this case containing that bracelet and a polished stone mirror.
Could I do an appraisal roll to see if I can?
Oh yes,
Get
yes.
anything
See if
about
it's worth stealing. Yes, definitely doable. Yeah, take a look over the central case. I mean, it is clearly very rare and valuable. This is in almost perfect condition. This gold armband with, black and white inlay, shaped in the form of a cobra. It looks beautiful there, glittering under the lights, under the skylights of the museum. It's a very fine example of Sixth Dynasty.
Sixth Dynasty?
Yes, let's say sixth.
Okay, because that's Nitocris. I know she
within
was
several hundred years of Nitocris. It covers a long...
Yes. Nitocris was the 6th dynasty, and Nefernkar was the 3rd. That's all the information I've got on Egyptology.
Yeah, this looks 6th dynasty by your hard appraisal.
What information have they got on it?
They say that it was taken from an unnamed tomb, and they believe it to be part of the paraphernalia of a priestess.
Well, this is strange. Oh well. I'm sure it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, it sits in this case beside the polished stone mirror, and around it all these other exciting finds from Howard Phillips. You hear a few whispers as you make your way around of lion. I swear, it's what the paper said, torn apart by a lion. Do you believe it? What?
Is there anyone suspicious looking around the place, like casing out the joint?
Other than us?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe a spot hidden for anyone more suspicious than yourself. There's a suspicious man in the wait, that's Maximilian. You don't see anyone obviously casing the joint. There's no one. I mean, I suppose casing the joint requires less effort in the Victorian era. There are no security cameras to find the positions of.
Anyone that looks out of place is the sort of thing.
Most of the people who've paid the entry fee, they look fairly well-dressed, smart people. You do catch sight of a cluster of people over towards the one side who seem to be having a heated conversation, and you recognise one of them as let me get his name right, because so many Egyptologists. Please hold whilst I consult my Egyptologists. Neville Lloyd Price. That's the one I was thinking of. Thank you. You see Neville Lloyd Price and a group of other people in a heated conversation over to one side of the room.
Is it possible to eavesdrop on said conversation?
Yeah, if you move a little closer, yeah. As you're trying to eavesdrop in, give me a listen.
As we're wandering around.
What are John and Maximilian doing? Are they joining Mortimer on his eavesdropping mission, or are you do you have your own things to do?
Well, I've been looking at the exhibits, wondering if, there are any other stolen artifacts, but I'm generally paying attention to Mortimer, so I'll go over with him.
Max is trying to catch Miss Club.
Oh, you're following after into the Assyrian section to catch Smith Plum. Yeah, you see them turning the corner. He's trying to run up to her, catch her attention, or walk up to her, or
I'll
What are you
walk
doing?
up. Oh,
Mr. Johnson.
how are you doing?
Oh, very, very well. We've had a lovely time so far this morning.
The kid's been behaving.
They seem to have been having a wonderful time. How have you found the exhibit?
Oh, it's not something I haven't seen before.
I know you were quite a traveler yourself, I believe.
Yes. I've been a lot of places. I mean, most of the time the stuff I'm seeing isn't presented as beautifully as here, right? Because it's on the way on some pack mules or somewhere else. But yeah, I've seen a lot, at least similar stuff. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's the same. But yeah. And then I'll look down on myself and let out a silent curse, and tell her, my bandages seem to have displaced themselves. Would you mind?
Oh,
And
no,
I'll
let me help you with that.
Exactly. I'm trying to basically get the two a chance to vanish within the people.
There's not as many people in this part of the museum. It's not as busy as the new exciting exhibit. But Elsie and Aubrey, you get a chance if you want to have some private conversation away from both Cynthia's ears and the ears of everyone else. You pass between like the large stone sculptures that once adorned an ancient Assyrian temple. These great lion men who stood at this temple's gates. Magnificent, aren't they?
Yeah. So, as I was saying earlier, when I went to Iceland, we were actually going there to destroy some of the, I guess you would call them cursed artifacts that we came across so that they couldn't harm anyone again. And then the volcano erupted when we threw it in, and...
You threw cursed artifacts into a volcano?
To destroy them, yes. Well, one of them lets some...
A quinter of Europe is nothing to this. Like, your life so far is more exciting than most people could ever hope the whole of their entire life to be.
But it's also so extremely dangerous, and I don't know how long I will live. What if I had gotten caught in the volcano explosion? What if we weren't able to convince the Panther Lady to not kill us and to go after the person who actually stole the item? You know?
Yes. I mean, yes, the normal human instinct would be to, I don't know, run away from these things and not get involved with them ever again, but do you want to do that? Could you do that? Knowing that these things exist?
To a degree, I think that it is a good idea to protect people in general from this. And that means some people have to be able to sacrifice what they want and what they need to do that. But it is quite terrifying sometimes. I mean, that pompous man, he tried to invite one of those beings into my home to have a conversation with it of some sort. I don't know. I kicked him out. But, you know, I mean, I understand that he's also cursed and they've got to relieve a curse from him. But, I mean, there were innocent people there. While Agnes knows what's going on, Jenny doesn't. Missy doesn't.
you want to protect them.
Yes.
You might be one of the bravest people I've ever met.
I don't know about that.
But to be willing to risk yourself and what you want for the sake of people who don't even... I mean, ideally, who would never know that you've done anything. Because you can only protect them by making sure that they don't know about it. By knowing that the knowledge doesn't spread beyond the few people that need to know to stop the knowledge from spreading. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who've always, like... Once you know, there's no going back. So, I suppose it's the duty of, if you do know, to make sure that no one else knows that... It looks like your chaperone has been waylaid. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, oh, she's coming over again. Oh dear. We should... When I'm next down in London, we should meet again. I'm off back at the term next week, but I'll be back in London. And
that would be wonderful.
Or if you can ever have the chance to escape the city and make a trip up to Oxford, I promise it's not always I promise people don't always get kidnapped in Oxford. I know it's perhaps a bad. Alternatively, like when the weather's better, I have an estate. Well, my mother technically has an estate just outside the city. And people actually no, that people do get kidnapped there as well. That was a reoccurring problem, so perhaps London possibly seems the least cursed of all these options.
I think they're all equally cursed to some degree, though. Yes. Whichever happens to come first.
Yes, indeed.
Be it that I have the availability to go to Oxford, or plan an outing to your mother's estate, or anything of that nature.
Excellent. Well, Miss Plum, I was just telling Elsie about these lovely pieces of Assyrian stonework. And conversation continues. Meanwhile, back in the Egyptian exhibit, Mortimer is listening into a conversation. As is John. You hear this you can see there is Neville Lloyd Pry talking to a gentleman who seems to be museum staff by the look of him. He carries over their authority. You think you've seen him before when you visited. I think definitely Mortimer, you visited the museum for other reasons. He's been around. And the last is a woman who's arguing with the other two. It shouldn't be on public display. It's dangerous. Trust me on this. Like, I can tell. I can feel the energies of that thing are unclean. It has a touch of the other side about it. There is a ghostly presence. I'm telling you. I assure you, Miss Broadmoor, there are no ghostly presences or pharaoh curses or anything in our museum. It is pure speculation and hysteria of the newspapers. There is no such thing as the pharaoh's curse, and none of our exhibits are cursed. Now, I believe you're making a bit of a scene. If you would ask you to please calm yourself, or we will have to ask you to leave. I am not mad. That mirror is cursed. Cursed, I tell you. And no good will come of keeping it here. No good at all. Right, the other gentleman beckoning towards security. Please would you escort Miss Broadmoor from the museum? Quite uncalled for. I was leaving anyway. And security start leading her. Well, not much leading her, as kind of ushering her towards the exit.
Did you hear much of that?
I heard all of that.
That's a bit strange.
It is. Have you had any occasion to run in with this Miss Broadmoor before? I mean, is she known to the society?
Not to my knowledge.
Not to my knowledge either, which has been proven imperfect. Well, as he's left, the others are heading off their own direction. Unless there's anything you wish to do in this moment, you can enjoy the rest of the museum. Making your way around the exhibits. Is there anything anyone wants to look at in particular? Or... Alright. So yeah, you spend a good portion of the rest of the day enjoying the delights of the British Museum. And as you head home, Penhue bids farewell to Elsie and promising to see her again soon. And Miss Plum seems quite pleased by the visit. As you're leaving, she goes, "He's quite a charming young man, and a baronet. Did you know?"
Yes, charming and well-knowledged. Very well educated.
I can't say I much like for this young gentleman's trend of gallivanting across Europe. There's all kinds of trouble they can get into. But I looked them up in his family up in Burke's Peerage. They seem perfectly respectable.
Well, yes, but personality is more important to me.
Well, yes, but you must think of your prospects. But not yet. You have years to think yet. You wouldn't want to rush into any decisions. But also don't leave it too late. Otherwise, one could find oneself bereft of options after a certain point in life.
What
I
about
wouldn't
you?
wish that upon you. It is a little late for marriage for me now.
Oh, I don't think so.
I believe that ship has long sailed. Every time I think there might have been hope, then they die or disappear, seemingly.
Die or disappear?
There was a charming gentleman who was with the society for a while. But he returned to his home country. I don't think he even ever noticed me.
Okay.
Alas, as I said, that ship has long sailed. But you are still young. Have a whole life ahead of you. and you shouldn't spend all that life hanging around in stuffy libraries with strange doctors and librarians. You should be out there enjoying the world.
Well, then, would you like to travel Europe for a little bit?
Well, as long as it just bears no resemblance to our trip to Iceland.
Not that I'm
That was
aware
truly
of.
one of the most horrible experiences of my life.
It was quite dreadful.
Quite awful.
But it had good moments before the dreadful parts.
Yes, before the crushed corpses and the volcano and all that. Perhaps if we pick some countries that have no volcanoes.
What about Spain?
Yes, I do believe they don't have any volcanoes. Yes, that.
We'll have to plan a holiday then.
We shall have to, yes. Yes, you make your way back to the carriage and back to the society. And unless there's anything of importance anyone wishes to do with the rest of that day, this will be where we wrap things up for today. Or almost where we wrap things up for today. You get a good night's sleep. Maximilian continues to take his medicine and awakes the next morning a little refreshed and a little healed. And you all also awake to the news in the morning papers. A headline printed in bold black ink. Theft at British Museum. Priceless Egyptian antiquities stolen. Police hunt culprit. And
I wonder who that could be.
that will be where we leave things for today.